Welcome back to my podcast. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Review by Top Shelf Tammie. That's me, where I review and make book recommendations for you guys to read. So, as always, I'm super excited because we got two new reads today. We're going to jump right into this review. I'm going to get the reviewing, I'm going to get the rating, and then I'm going to give you a chance to pick which one of these books you want to read and do your homework. So you can meet me back here next week for questions and discussions. So it's going to get super juicy. Alrighty. I'm excited because one of these stories I really, really, really enjoyed. And then the other one we'll talk about. So let's jump right into the review. So, the first book I am reviewing today, the name of this book is Thug, a ghetto love story by Jay Jones. This was a fresh read for me. Both of the books today are fresh reads. So, I'm really excited about that I was able to do some new books and get some fresh stories because I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes reviewing those books that I had reread wasn't always the most entertaining, but I love them. So I guess it was a give and take relationship with that. But today I have some fresh reads, so I'm excited. So again, I'm gonna repeat that title for you guys. This was a fresh read for me. I do not think this was a first time author for me. I'm not 100% sure. But again, the name of this story was Thug, a Ghetto Love Story by Jay Jones. So we're going to jump right on in. I ain't going to hold you. Alrighty. So again, a Ghetto Love Story by Jay Jones. And the setting for this book was Harbor Haven, Maryland. This is not a real city because I had to Google this because a lot of the times when I give you guys settings in the past, I was just like, is these real places or not? But a lot of the times the stories was in cities that I heard before, so I didn't kind of think that. But for this one, something just made me like Google and see. So this was just a make believe city. It was like a group of words or places all put together in Maryland that made this city. So, nevertheless, it's fine. This book was a newer book from the ones I usually do. So, it was published January 6th of 2024. So, not too old. So, the genre classification to me for this book was urban romance. Loose on the romance. And we're going to talk about that part later. Loose on the romance. But it was an urban story. Put it shortly. Okay. So errors in this book, it was a couple errors. It wasn't a lot. It was just very small errors, just like a couple, like literally like two or three. Alrighty. Vocabulary for this book, we didn't have any vocabulary. Our main characters in this book, we had quite a few main characters, but that's okay because the more characters to me, I feel like it give you more sides of the story and you can get a better view, like a better 360 of the story. So we had quite a few characters. We had Mega, which is going to be our guy lead. And then we had Livia, which is going to be our girl lead. Um, then we have Marie, which is Mega's sister. We had Knuckles, which is Livia's ex. We had Oscar, which is Livia's dad. And then we had Linda, which is Livia's mom. So we're going to get a point of view from everybody, and it's going to bring the story together very nicely. So now we're going to get to the summary, and then we're going to get to the rest of the review. All right. So this is the summary for Thug, a Ghetto Love Story. This story is more than just a hood romance. It's a collision between two worlds that were never meant to mix. Livia Darling is an elementary school teacher with a heart too soft for the streets. But her kindness gets tested when she crosses paths with Mega, a man who's as dangerous as he is magnetic. He's the kind of man who walks with secrets, scars, and a code only the streets understand. As their connection grows, Livia finds herself torn between what's right and what feels real. Mega World pulls her in, full of temptation, loyalty, and moral conflict. But love like this doesn't come easy. It's wrapped in pain, redemption, and the hope that two people from different sides of life can somehow meet in the middle. Alrighty, guys. So just a little summary of this story, just to give you a little bit of an idea. So of course, we got our Goodsey Two Shoes school teacher Livia, and then we got our street guy Mega, right? Okay. So moving on to the rest of the review. Alrighty. So was the book engaging? So overall, this book was engaging to me. It did have a unique storyline and situations to me. So each of these characters are going to be fighting their own demons and their own battles. So the book was very engaging, but I'm not going to give too much away into the review because I don't want to do that. So was the plot predictable? So the plot was not predictable to me. I do feel like the author, she did a very good job of keeping the story kind of mysterious. It was a little bit like every time maybe I thought the story was going in one direction, it went into another direction. So that was really good. And it wasn't no wild turns or no wild directions, because y'all know I hate that. Like if it's super crazy, then I'm like, okay, now you're doing too much. But no, it still fit. Everything made sense to me. The book strengths. The book strengths to me was the storyline. Like again, I feel like the situations the characters were placed in were very unique, and it was a good storyline to me. Like it made sense. So that was probably my favorite thing about the story was the story and the plot. The plot itself. That's what it was. The book weakness to me was some of the writing or majority of the writing. And what I mean by that is the author, she was very redundant. Like she would tell us a situation or she would tell us the character's feelings, and then she would just repeat and add on and add on and add on. And it became very redundant. And she did this throughout the whole two books. This is a series. So this is a two-part series, and she did this throughout the whole two books. And it got to a point that it was very irritating. I won't lie. It was, if it wasn't for the sake that the plot was so good, I probably would have stopped reading this book because it just became super repetitive. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Does the book achieve its goal? So yes. So the book, I will say, it definitely keeps you entertained and interested to the end. So with me basically saying the redundancy part and the book weakness part, um, yeah. But it's still, the story is still entertaining enough where you are still interested and you can still finish the book. So that was good. And that's why I said that was one of the strong suits to me was the plot of the story and the storyline. Cause if that wasn't a good storyline and then we had the redundancy, I would have been done with this book. Did the book make you care about the characters? So yes, the book absolutely draws you in and makes you care about the characters. As I mentioned before, they are in very unique, difficult situations. So you are definitely I won't say relating to them, but you are very sympathetic to their situations, and you are definitely hoping like I hope they make it out, and I wish the best for them. So it does draw you in. Now, the book doesn't give too much backstory because sometimes that's how the author draw you in too. They give you these sob backstories, but this is not that. It is a short story, and it draws you into the characters by their current situation, which is always a plus as well. So yes, the book does make you care about the characters. So was the plot and the dialogue believable? I feel like the dialogue absolutely. So I don't feel like nobody overplayed their part in the dialogue. It was just regular down to earth talking. By me mentioning it, the book was in 2024. It's not any like outdated slang or anything like that. So everything still fits. I think she said like she had on an aloe set, so aloe still popping. So yeah, it wasn't anything like outdated or wrong with the dialogue. Now the plot. So the plot was like 50-50 to me. The plot is like 50-50 to me because it's a little unbelievable. In a bad way, no. You will still want to read it, but it's unbelievable in a book way. It's unbelievable enough to be like, this probably wouldn't happen like that in the real world, but it's good enough for you to be like, I'm interested and I want to finish. So yeah, so like the plot 50-50 on the believability. Like, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And accuracies. So the only thing seemed a little inaccurate to me is just like the time of the story. When you read the story, and you guys will see, when you read the story, it almost looked like it takes place probably within like 3 weeks. But then in the whole realm of things, and the author is kind of going to depict it being like months. So yeah, that was a little inaccurate and a little bit confusing to me because like everything is moving fast, 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 but then it seemed like it's not. Oh, it's a little, yeah. That part was a little confusing, and I feel like the timing was a little inaccurate. The author never gives any indication of time, either like next week or it's been a month or it's been 2 months, anything like that. We never get any like kind of sense of time, and so it jumps and then you just don't know how much time passed. So not really. It was a little inaccurate or inaccuracies. That was the only thing that kind of didn't make like a lot of sense to me. Alrighty. So trigger warnings for this book. We have some sex trafficking. It is some sex trafficking in this book, and then murder. So if you are bothered by any of those things, then of course this is not going to be the book for you. Gonna wait for that second book to come because those things are not in the second book. But yeah, so the trigger warnings is there. If this is not for you, then go ahead and pass. Alrighty. And so what I am going to rate this book overall, because that is the end of my review. I rated this book a 3.5. So I rated this book a 3.5 because let's go to my scale. Would I reread this book? I would not reread this book. So of course, I rate for that and I deduct points if I wouldn't reread the book. So I wouldn't reread this book. Another one of the reasons why I deducted some points was because of the redundancy of the book. It just harped and harped and harped and harped when she was talking about the character's feelings. Like, okay, we got it the first time, we got it the second time. We do not need the third, fourth, and fifth time. So that was a little, I ain't like that. Another one of the reasons why I deducted points. Also, overall, the story is not the story, but some aspects and some feelings of the story is very juvenile. It's a little kiddish to me. So I will probably talk about that a little bit more in questions and discussions. But for now, that is going to be my rating for this book. I am giving Thug, A Ghetto Love Story by Jay Jones. I'm giving this book a 3.5. I would read at my own discretion. I can't say I recommend this book. Maybe once you guys read or watch the questions and discussions episodes, you can make up your mind a little bit more if you will read this book. I will also hope sometimes that you guys, when I come across like really tough ratings, that you still read because you can kind of see if we think the same. So then, like future moving forward, you'd be like, okay, if Tammie say is not a good book, it ain't a good book. So that you can just kind of catch on to like my rating style. Once you trust me enough and be like, okay, she said it's a 3.5, then I'm not reading it. Then we'll be on the same page. It or opposite of that, if you be like, she said it's a 3.5, but she a little hard on judging, and I didn't quite think it was a 3.5. And then you can also know that way as well. Like sometimes she a little hard, but the book still be good. Everybody got their own feelings. All right. All righty. So again, Thug, I Got a Love Story by Jay Jones. The review, I don't know if I'm recommending you, but I give you a 3.5 and keep on writing. All right. Okay. Moving on, guys. Alrighty, so moving on to our second book of the evening. Y'all already know. Y'all know what that means. When I get my little seat two step, y'all already know that I'm feeling the book. So I'm very excited to review this book, and I'm gonna jump on right in. All right. So the name of this book is The Last Man on Earth, a survival romance by Shay Sanders. Oh, that's gonna be my theme for this book. That's my theme for this book. I really, really liked this book, y'all. So we're gonna jump on into the review, and then I'm gonna let y'all do your homework. This book is The Last Man on Earth, a survival romance, and this is also a standalone. One book. One book. Arthur is Shay Sanders. The setting for this book is going to be a remote island. Oh. Alrighty. This book was published October 17th of 2025. Oh, that's a new one. This is last month. Okay, okay. My genre classification for this book is actually a true urban romance. So me and Arthur, we are on the same page with that one. Errors in this book, it was a couple errors, not a lot. They were very, very tiny. And if you were reading fast, you will read right through the errors. So they wasn't bothersome. Vocabulary, was no vocabulary for this book. Main characters we have for this book is Ariana, and that is going to be our lady love interest. And then we have Villain, aka Vincent, which is going to be our guy love interest. So only two characters. All righty, let's get into the summary, and then we're going to get into the rest of the review. So this summary is The Last Man on Earth, a survival romance by Arthur Shay Sanders. What happens when survival turns into seduction? A private jet, a famous rapper, a woman who swore she couldn't stand him. When Villain's bachelor party trip goes up in flames, literally, he and Ariana, the no nonsense flight concierge, end up stranded on a deserted island. No entourage, no fans, no way out. But isolation does something wild to people. The tension between them turns electric. Arguments turn into passion, and survival becomes the ultimate test of trust and desire. And just when they build something real in the middle of nowhere, rescue comes. Now they have to face the headlines, the heartbreaks, and the loves they left behind. So the real question is, was it just island heat or a love that can survive the real world? Oh, this is the one, y'all. This the one. This the one. This the one y'all gonna read. So I really liked this book, as you can tell, because I have no poker face and I always give it away. So we're gonna jump into the rest of the review so that I can give you guys my overall recommendation and my rating, and then you can kind of pick which book you want to read. If you can't tell which one you want to read at this point. Alrighty. Was the book engaging? Absolutely. We get to the beginning of this book and we got our two main characters that can't stand each other. She is the flight concierge, like we just said, and he is a famous rapper. And then boom, plane crash. Plane crash. Out the gate. Out the gate. We got a plane crash. Okay. So was it engaging? Absolutely. Out the gate. I'm gonna leave it right there. Alrighty. Was the plot predictable? No. So I feel like no, the plot wasn't predictable because you kind of don't know what's gonna happen in so many aspects with the flight crashing and the survivors and kind of what's gonna happen on the island. Like a little bit, you know what happened on deserted islands, like they drink coconuts or whatever like that. So you kind of like have these theories of how they're gonna survive, and you putting it together in your head like how they're gonna survive. But it actually goes a little bit different. So the plot is not predictable. Book strengths. So the book strength to me was this was a fresh and very entertaining storyline and plot. That's what the book strength was, to me was, and that's been the theme of the day was the plots. The plots were very good and in this book executed excellently. Perfect. All right, so the book weaknesses to me was just a couple of the errors that the book had. As I mentioned before, it's probably like two or three of them. And if you're reading fast because you're gonna be reading on the edge of your seat to see what's up with this book, you're gonna read right through the errors. So that was the only thing that was like a book weakness to me. Did the book achieve its goal? Absolutely. You're going to be entertained and glued to the book to the end. Absolutely. It did its job. Does the book make you care about the characters? Yes. Yes. How can you not care about people who survived a plane crash? It's a given, right? So yes, this book absolutely does make you care about the characters. It draws you in from their situation, and then while they are stranded on the island, we get a little backstory and we get to know them. So this book absolutely makes you care about the characters. I'm sorry, y'all learned how to do this, and it's been up. Was the plot and dialogue believable? Yes, and yes. So again, this is a fresh story. I don't think they use any like modern slang. So you can't tell when this book was like wrote in an event. Like you read this book in the future, it's cool to read in the future because it's nothing dated about it. It doesn't give any dates. It doesn't give any like slang, like, oh, that was 1995, that was 2020, that was 2025. You don't know. It doesn't give any slang. So this book will actually be readable again in the future. So whenever you come across this podcast, this book is good to read. The plot. Was the plot believable? Absolutely. I do believe the plot was believable to me. I do feel like people could get in a plane crash and stranded at sea or stranded on an island, and there all of this can happen. So yeah, inaccuracy. It was no inaccuracies. So this story will take place over the course of about a year, and everything fits perfectly. It was no inaccuracies. It was no like change up of stories or like background. Like everything stuck. Real good job. Trigger warnings for this book is a plane crash and then people dying. So it's no murder. Nobody kills anybody in this book. Some people just die in the plane crash. It's not really too graphic, but it's there. So yeah, if you are triggered by that, then it's not the book for you. Moving on. Alrighty. So what I rated this book is a 4.75. Alrighty. So that is my rating on The Last Man on Earth, a survival romance by Shay Sanders. The reason I did not give this book a 5.0 or a 5-star rating is because I wouldn't reread it. It's really good, and it's definitely like worth recommending, and it is definitely a book like I will brag on and recommend to people and clap and smile on here and tell y'all about it. The book was excellent, but it's just not, I wouldn't reread it again. So it's fine. Like it's nothing. Some books are just not rereadable, but this was a great book. It was a strong book, strong plot, strong storyline. The author, she executed it very well. We got some heat and some romance coming in this book that I'm gonna tell y'all about in questions and discussions. And baby, y'all gonna love this book. Y'all gonna love it. So again, The Last Man on Earth, a survival romance by Shay Sanders. The review, I recommend you, girl. Absolutely. Alrighty, guys. So I will not hold you any longer. If you enjoyed this episode and you are watching on YouTube, do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below, guys. Alrighty, and if you want to hit me up and let me know what your take on this book is, you can email me at ts_Tammie@yahoo.com. And if you are an author who would like your book review or your poem read, you can also email me there as well, ts_TammiePie@yahoo.com. If you would like to stay in touch with me a little closer, you can follow me on the socials, and my Instagram is topshelf_Tammie, and my TikTok is Top Shelf Tammie. So until next time, guys, questions and discussions of this episode next